você vai pensar, baby?
I'll tell you after I kiss you.
E então, o que você vai pensar?
I was just thinking, what was the perfect time to kiss you?
Não diga disso, baby. Isso é tão vergonhoso.
Upa, neguinho na estrada, upa pra lá e pra cá. Diz que coisa mais linda, upa, neguinho começando a andar.
Good day, gentlemen. James Marshall here with the lovely Eulalia.
Hello, everyone.
In today's episode, we're going to be looking at the first kiss. How to make this a sexy and memorable moment instead of something that is cringe. Now, you saw in my little telenovela intro where I was saying what I thought was a cool line, and this is based on a real thing that I definitely did once, not with a sexy Brazilian, but with an Australian who was like, don't say that, it's cringe. So I never telegraph verbally that I'm going for the kiss. Why? Because the build-up to the first kiss is really important, especially for the woman. They always talk about the first kiss being meaningful if it's good. What's happening is we have the build-up of all the sexual tension from our touching and spending time together. The tension is building and it should be released when our lips touch. But instead what I do is I build up the tension and then I say, just so you know, there's a kiss coming soon. How do you feel about that? And then it releases all that sexy tension. So I don't do anything, no matter how cool or witty you think the line is, don't do it. Right? So I don't say, do you mind if I kiss you?
Não pergunte, apenas faça.
Don't ask, just do it. That's the general thing that we need to keep in mind, right? So that's the first thing is don't say nothing. Next thing I don't want to do is roughly grab her and pull her towards me like this. All right, so grabbing her face and pulling her towards you or grabbing her by the back of the head and pulling her into you is not good. Now, look, there will be, when we're lovers and we know each other well, then yeah, I might go and do that kind of thing, but I'm probably not going to do that on the first kiss. Same kind of thing is that I don't want to be grabbing her and like moving her chin up. Right, so anything where I'm gripping at her face, her chin, and pushing her body in some kind of way, again, it's going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to feel very pushy. Now, there is certainly ways that we can draw her into us physically, or we can lift her chin or tilt her head to the side, for example, but we want to do that in a way that's gentle and smooth. Right, so if I wanted to pull her in for the first kiss, I might place my hand at her lower head, back of her skull, and then draw her into me like this. Right, so what I did there is I just scooped in under the neck and it's like this, right? So I just get this little kind of curling hook happening here. Right, so that comes around. If you see here, the fingers hook in at the back of the neck. But it's more of like a scoop and lift, right? So I'm not yanking her towards me. I draw her into me and then I can lift, then that will lift her neck like that. Or if your head's down, and I do want to lift her by the chin, it's just a guide, right? So I just place it under there and it's just like I'm very gently lifting. And then if she responds, right, good sign. Okay, so it's a guide, not yanking or pulling at the girl. So let's look at the dynamic of the first kiss. Because guys are often worried about saying some smooth thing to get into the kiss, they leave it for a long period, right? They need some perfect moment. Usually, the way I would go into a first kiss is I've just been talking about whatever. I'm talking about my olive trees. The thing that I really like about my olive trees. So I'll just, if I was in the middle of saying something, I just kind of let it trail off, mumble, shush, kiss, right? Or there's a moment's pause where I'm like, and then the thing happened and it was really awesome. Moment, pause, and then kiss. Right, so I don't want to leave like 20 seconds of us staring at each other, smoldering eyes, right? And I also don't want to try and think of some verbal transition. It's just when I was saying something, I'm looking her in the eyes, and then I look down at her lips, right? So I'm in real time checking, like I'm making my move, and I'm checking her response. Now there was that thing in Hitch, the movie, which said that there was the 90-10 rule, right? Which is where you come in 90 and then you kiss me. And then she comes in 10. Now, the reality is it's more like 95-5, right? So, because sometimes if I go in like this, a girl will come in and finish the kiss for me. Most likely not on the first kiss, right? So I'll come 90, then she will come a little, and then I'll be the one to finish that last gap. That's more likely to happen, right? So I go in, she leans in a little bit or lifts her chin, and then I go in and complete the kiss. Okay, so that's a hot sensual moment, right? So I draw her in, she comes closer, And then now we look at the particularities of the first kiss. Generally what I want to do is just open my lips a little bit, because I don't want it to just be lips pursed, right? Because if it's just like this, right, that's that's an auntie kiss, right? That's not a sexy one. And I also don't want to go in and immediately start tonguing her and doing some like really wet kisses, right? So I'll usually go in with just a little bit open mouth. I want to relax my lips, right? So there's no like, and this is going to look silly on camera. There's no rigidity in it. It's not like pursed lips, right? Where there's tension in my lips, it's not going to feel nice, right? So my lips are going to be soft. Open your mouth. And that will be good length for a very first kiss, right? So because I want it to like have an impact, we're delicately getting to know each other in this moment, right? So we're really present and there in the moment. So we can just keep it as a kind of chaste, like fairly, tame kiss initially, right? Because then I want to feel her response to me, right? Because a lot of times guys will go in and start mashing and try to like, get a make out going straight away. It's not particularly elegant. Look, there'll be times where people are passionate and they just come in and kiss and it gets all wet quickly. But initially here, so what I'm doing, if you want to be a really good kisser, everyone, like so many people have different styles of kissing. And generally I want to be able to adjust to this particular style of the girl, right? Some girls use tongue a lot. Some use it, kind of painting manner. Some just use it a little, probing. Others don't really use tongue much at all, except when they're, say, really turned on. So if I try and force my kissing style onto her, then we'll be mismatched. So that initial kiss, again, is just an opportunity for me to sense how she kisses initially. The second and third kiss will be wider and wetter, and then I will tend to match the style of the girl. Okay, so now we make out a little bit. So you noticed after the third kiss, then it gets more passionate, right? So we allow this time for first kiss, delicate, second with a little bit of tongue, third gets a bit sexier, right? And now there's movement through the body. Okay, so now that's like her and you getting into that zone where it makes more sense to be getting into more of a wet kiss. Now, generally, if we weren't in the seduction location, so we walked out of the bar and I pulled her in for a kiss, for example, there, then it's better not to make out for multiple minutes, right? Because even though it might feel fun, or on the dance floor or something, it might feel fun, but it typically means that the sexual tension is going to be lowering the more that we make out. And we probably all have those experiences when we're in high school of like kissing a girl on a couch for an hour. Like towards the end, you're like, oh, how much more kissing do I need to do? And she's feeling the same, right? So generally I'll do 2, 3, 4 kisses on the first exchange, and I will be the one to pull away gently, right, rather than staying in there to kiss as much as I can, right? So the timing would be and then I would be the one to pull away in that setting. Another way to do the first kiss is a much more abrupt and brutish kind of style of kiss. Now this one I would only do if I was really sure that there was a vibe between us, right? This is not something I'm doing on the girl that I maybe am studying with or maybe hanging out to do some schoolwork together, but I'm not sure about it. No, this is one where I know there's a vibe because it's kind of a high risk, high reward move and it has a really powerful emotional impact when it's done well. So if I'm walking along with her, all right, so let's break that down. Just look at what I did. So I'm walking with her and I'm creating momentum and then I stop, which means she continues. And to open her out, what I did is I just went like that. Okay, so from here, we've got momentum, open out, and then I'm going to step in. Now, what I did here is I put my hand behind her head because I'm going to use my body weight to push her into the wall or wherever it was that I'm pushing up against. Why do I do that? Because in the throes of passion, I could easily bang her head on a concrete wall, not good. Right, so it takes a bit of kind of coordination to get this right, but it's here, spin, hand behind the head, and then I'll come in and I use basically my upper body to lean her up against the wall, right? So I'm here and I like push her in. So she gets that sense of being squashed against the wall, which is a hot and sexy moment. Okay, so in and then lean in to do the kiss, right? And I can, I will actually hold her in against the wall, right? So she's got that feeling of being pressed and kind of trapped. Right? So it's a very, very sexy moment. That's the kind of first kiss which girls dream about. So we're walking along, chatting, and I'm here, like this. Now I don't actually even need a wall for this. I can do it, we've left the bar or whatever and we're walking along, and then I can do it this way. Right, so I span it around and then I used, like I showed you previously, this kind of scoop hook behind her neck. Right, so once again, it's here, spin her around, draw her into me. Right, or I can even let go of this one and then get that action in there to combine it, which is a very sexy moment. And once again, it's here, spin, lift, like that. Now, what if the first kiss was happening on a couch? So let's say you've gone home together and you've come and sat down and then she has positioned herself here, right, with this amount of distance between us, which is, something that might happen. Occasionally a woman might put a handbag there. They're not mountains, they can be moved. So at some point I would just take that and place it over there. But to close the distance now between her and I, here's how I wouldn't do it. That's creepy, right? So what I'm doing there is I'm leading with the head, making all this eye contact as I come in. And this is not the way I want to be doing my first kiss, leaning into it weirdly. Right, so 2 ways to close the gap. One is that I'm talking to her about something and then I look away and I move over and then I look towards her. Right, so in that way I've created a psychological space that as I'm coming closer, I'm breaking eye contact, maybe I'm still talking, I shift over and then I turn and now I'm within kissing range. The second way that I'll do this, and this is how I most commonly do it, she sat down there and I'll place my arm behind and I'll say, come here. And then she will just settle into me. Now, if I do that with clarity, with a cheeky smile, I say, come over here. More often than not, she's going to do it. And then she immediately puts herself into kissing distance. So from here, however we ended up there, one of those 2 ways, to go for the kiss, right, I will just angle myself here. Same principles that I'm not going to mention it in any kind of way. I might have been talking about something and I just shush. And I notice that she's coming closer, so we have 95.5. Maybe I'll tilt her chin up a little bit, right? So because at this angle, generally her head will be down a little bit, so I probably will need to tilt it. Right, so I come in, just a light lift. And then remembering for our first kiss that maybe we do that 2-3 times. Now, because we're in a seduction location now, we're in private, things can obviously escalate from here, but it's still good to have that first moment where we have 2-3 kisses, break, and then generally when you come back in the second time, it's all on, right? So once again, move over. All right, so we're sitting, we're chatting, I place my arm back, and I'll say, come over here. Comes into me, let her settle in. I don't jump on her immediately, but I also don't leave this for minutes. Maybe I'm finishing whatever nonsense I was talking about. And then I'd probably break there for a caress, touch, and then we'd go in and it would be all on. Great sex is about the details and the nuances. If you want to become a masterful lover, then it's not enough just to know a few random tricks or techniques. You need to understand things from a deeper principle base and also the delicate intricacies that turn average lovemaking into high art. And now is your chance to do just that. The Master Lover Academy is open for enrollments right now. This is my 8-month course, which has 120 different modules, all filmed in explicit, uncensored detail with 7 sexy models covering literally everything that you could possibly ever need to know to satisfy the needs and whims of every single partner that you're going to have and to be the most unforgettable lover that she has ever had. This is 120 modules, literally hundreds of individual techniques broken down into minute detail, filmed with demonstrations and explanations so that it's extremely clear to you how to apply these practically in real life. You've only got a couple of days left to join the course. Enrollments close on the 30th of March. After that, I go on to coaching the guys in the course. So this is your last chance to join the world's best online sex school, the Master Lover Academy. All you need to do to join is click the link in the description of this video. It'll take you to a page which explains everything in full detail. You can sign up today to receive the 8-month program plus over 40 hours of bonus material, which is available with the launch. So click the link below for full details. I hope to see you in the course. And this is James Marshall signing out. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.